What about all the other religions? Now, if you want to study religion, study the Roman Empire. You name it, they got it. You could shop around in a religious supermarket in Rome, and you could buy almost any idol you wished. You could choose your religion just like that. I remember going, and this is one of the slides I want to show you, I remember going to the Pantheon, which is one of the most amazing buildings I've ever been in. There it is in Rome, still standing after 2,000 years, or nearly 2,000, built in the year 27 BC. It's built rather like the Albert Hall, a wee bit smaller, a hole in the middle of the roof, a great domed ceiling. Unlike the Albert Hall, it has nothing in it except round the edge. It has niches like this. And in those niches were all the gods of the Roman Empire. As soon as a new religion came into the empire, into a niche went their god. And this was their policy. It's a policy we call syncretism, which means mix your religion. And since the Roman Empire kept getting bigger and bringing in new people with new culture and new religion, all they did was go on adding gods to the pantheon. And the word pantheon means pan, all, theon, gods, the house of all gods. But you know, there was one niche that they offered to the Christians for a statue of Jesus Christ. They said, you can have a niche. Put a statue of Jesus in the pantheon. And the Christians said, never. Never. And Jesus never went into that pantheon. But you know, when I went into it, all the niches were empty. But there was a statue of Jesus in one of them. It was taken over by the church, and it's now a place of worship. It's interesting. I'll tell you this, Jesus Christ would not be what he is today in the world's thinking if he'd been put in one of those niches with the others. And this was the battle they had to fight. They had said, we will not mix our religion with the others. Now this caused real trouble because the Romans registered all religions. And when you were registered, you became a religio licita. You weren't an illicit faith anymore. You were a licita faith. You were a legal faith. And this was added to the list. Now the Christians refused to become a religio licita. And you might have said, well, that was silly. That was sticking their necks out. But they said, we're not going to have Christianity in that list of religion. We are not a religion. We are followers of Jesus Christ. Gradually, the other religions became established in Rome, and finally they put a statue of Caesar in a niche. And the day came when Caesar was regarded as God. And the Roman Empire said, our religion is the worship of Caesar. From now on you pray to Caesar. From now on you burn incense to Caesar. From now on you say Caesar is Lord. And that's when the physical battle began for the Christians. More of that later. But the interesting thing is that a double charge of atheism went both ways. The Romans accused the Christians of being atheists, and the Christians accused the Romans of being atheists. And it's very interesting to see this double charge. On what grounds did they say this? Well, the Romans said, you Christians are atheists because you don't believe in the gods of Rome. And they didn't. They said the idols are nothing, the gods don't exist. And the Christians said to the Romans, you are atheists. And the word atheist occurs once in the Bible. I wonder if you know where it is. I read it this morning in church. It occurs in Ephesians 2, where Paul says, you were Gentiles, you were pagans, you were without God and without hope in the world. And the word translated without God is atheos. And an atheist is not someone who doesn't believe in God, but someone who's without God. An atheist may go to a temple, he may bow down to an idol, but he's without God. And that's the real meaning of the word atheist, and there are millions of atheists. They're not irreligious, they say their prayers. If you press them, they'd say they believe in something somewhere or someone up there. But they are atheists, they don't know God, they don't have His grace and His power and His salvation in their lives. They're atheists. So the Romans said to the Christians, you're atheists, you don't believe in the gods. And the Christians said, you're atheists, with all your gods, you don't have God. That's why Paul at Athens said, I've seen all your altars, but he said, I noticed one at the end, to the God we don't know. Well, he said, I've come to talk to you about that God, the one God you don't know. Atheists. Now that was the spiritual battle, and I want to say that we're going to be fighting this today. Do you know that just a month or two ago, no, just a matter of weeks ago, in Cambridge, in a so-called Christian church, the most prominent church in Cambridge, there was held a service for the World Congress of Faiths. And into that Congress came Buddhists, Hindus, Baha'is, Jews, Christians, the lot. And they met together to worship together. And they were there to pretend that all religion is one. And they met under a man who's been ordained to preach the Christian gospel. That's the battle we've got to fight. And if that is happening, believe me, this is going to be the battle of the future. For there is a growing move towards what the Bible always predicted would happen in history, towards one world religion. And it is at that point that the Christian says, no, our religion is unique. It will not mix with any other. Do you know that one of the conditions of joining in that service was that Christ should not be mentioned? That gives the whole game away straight away. But this is the battle we've got to fight. And it's a battle that we shall have to fight ever more fiercely. We refuse to put Jesus Christ alongside Buddha or Muhammad or anyone else. He's the only Son of God. And we refuse to put Christianity in a basin with all other religions and mix it up and call it faith. We refuse to do this. But the Bible also predicts that those who refuse to do it will come to a time when they won't even be allowed to go and shop for food until they accept this religion. Persecution will come this way. It's a battle we may have to fight in our lifetime. It's a battle that is already on our shores and in our churches. And it's a battle that in the first 400 years they fought and won. And we wouldn't have Christianity today if they hadn't fought it. You see why I'm talking to you about the past? Because it isn't the past, it's the present too. Now I come to the next battle, which